Greetings and blessings. Today is July 13th, Thursday, 2023. It's around 7 a.m. The pasture has been scythed for an entirety of 2 times, coming up on its 3rd cut. Just had a lot going on lately. It's either going to get started some point in the next 3 days or the beginning of next Thursday. So a week from today I'll probably start mowing this, because the back is not even close to ready yet. So I might just still mow it in the 2 sections, split it in half at the tree, do this one first, do the back half later on, allowing that to regrow up for its 4th cut sometime in late November, September. So maybe you have heard, maybe you haven't, but the state of Vermont has experienced some extreme floods, probably very similar to what had happened when Hurricane Irene came through. It's much worse in central and northern Vermont rather than southern Vermont, but all places got hit pretty bad in one way or another. Up here at 900 to 1,000 feet and covered, protected soil, we're cranking. So let's get into mid-July garden updates. The tomatoes have really taken on, everything has finally taken on a life of their own. So down this back end is tomatoes. All along the entire perimeter is tomatoes. So tomatoes intermixed down this little pathway is sweet corn that didn't germinate too well. There's a little pumpkin. This is the north side, and that was some other sweet corn that I planted that did germinate very well. And this is some Abenaki flint corn that did germinate very well. And you have the tomatoes intermixed on the edge, going around the entire perimeter. Coming up next is the Jerusalem artichokes, 12 to 18 foot tall sunflower with an edible tuber. And oh no, we have a blank spot. Well, what happened here is that I had planted garlic in the fall and potatoes in the spring. Because I have such limited space here, I said, let me do an interplanting of potatoes and garlic. Didn't know if it was going to work. I had suspicions that one of them would yield smaller, and I had thought that the potatoes would yield smaller and the garlic would get up to size because of its established root system. But it turns out that the potatoes actually harvested at full size, and the garlic was actually what lost a little bit of strength or fertility to put on its full size. Still some pretty good sized bulbs, but overall, potatoes and garlic interplanting does work if you wanted to have a crack at it. And then intermixed was 2 peach seeds that I planted when I planted the garlic, and now this has been sown to a row of Parisian carrots, watermelon radish, and Tokyo market turnips. And those should all start germinating in about a week or so. Carrots probably 2 weeks. And it was watered in and put a nice fresh of grass mulch layer on top. Going down this pathway is sweet potato slips. So now that these potatoes are out, that'll kind of give some more light to the sweet potato slips, hopefully give them a life of their own. German butterball potato that I saved from my own potatoes that I grew last year in my closet. There's also German butterball intermixed down the whole row of the Jerusalem artichokes. And then this is 4 or 5 different kinds of winter storage potatoes, long season potatoes. Coming down this row, intermixed with the tomatoes along the edge, is a bush variety of delicata squash. So we're really trying to pack it in there, and it seems that the plants don't mind it. The plants really like it, and they're thriving. And we've got some more tomatoes coming in. I believe this is Peace Vine grape tomato, and these are from my own saved seed from last year. And we get into Adirondack red potato, mid-season variety. On this other end here, we have a red Norland potato, and I can't remember what variety this was. And in that other back end is a Yucca Gold potato. We have some lettuce coming in very nicely, harvesting for today's or tomorrow's farmers market tonight. Another succession of sorrel summer radish, some calendula, marigolds, amaranth, and sweet potato slips, all coming into their own. I think there's a cucumber in here too. Yep, cucumber. Some more Fisher's Earliest sweet corn, sweet potato slip, and a little Swiss chard start. This was all the hay from finishing the final mowing. Sun's coming up, but it's blocked out. And the mounds are taking on a nice life of their own. We have pumpkins intermixed with wild strawberries and Who Gets Kissed sweet corn all around the mound, sweet potato slips to the north, and a pumpkin or a cucumber to the south. Next succession of white Russian kale, new tray of beets not coming up yet, early top wonder beets. We got some kale, Swiss chard, yellow Swiss chard, red Swiss chard, 60-day tomatoes, broccoli, 60-day tomatoes, broccoli, some more sweet potato slips. So as the potatoes get harvested and other crops get harvested, all of these starter plants are going in to take their place. After all of the garlic came out of the mounds, I immediately transplanted broccoli starts in to take their place. We have some summer squash, zucchini plants coming on finally to a life of their own. Here's one of those broccoli starter plants, not doing too hot, but it's cranking. Some more cucumbers coming on. This whole mound has broccoli starter plants, just trying to come into a life of their own. They're getting eaten by slugs profusively. And this is some more sweet corn, an okra plant, lettuce intermixed, broccoli, and a cucumber. These ones are all cucumber or squash, calendula in the back, an echinacea, some wild strawberry, onions saving seed from, and yarrow. And then some Jefferson hazelnuts in pots. And there's a tomato in there too. Oh, and a zucchini, summer squash. And in this mound, tomato, broccoli starter plants went in to replace the broccoli. And then more summer squash. And the other mound is broccoli starter plants as well. Now the tomatoes on this west side, they're just really taking off, doing their thing. I mean, look at the stalk on this guy. That's a pretty healthy tomato, and these are from my own saved seed as well. This is Lillian's Yellow. It's a Vermont heirloom yellow beefsteak tomato. So really looking forward to that. Now, tomatoes on this edge, little oak tree from an acorn. And then on the wood chip path is all pumpkins going down this whole row. These ones were planted a few weeks ago in June, a little bit smaller. Then as you keep going, more tomatoes, and then these New England pie pumpkins that I had taken, saved my own seed from. These were planted on May 18th, the same exact day that I had planted them last year. So I think it's of value to not only save the seed, but try to replant it on the same day each year. I don't know, that just feels like it has meaning and value to me. So this is the west side, and we're making our way inside the garden. I just always like to do a big outside tour because there's a lot going on. Sweet potato slip. Now to the south side, we have a Italian flatleaf parsley, some acorn squash that I saved seed from a local farm, organic acorn squash that I bought at the co-op. Some broccoli coming into a life of its own, and it looks like these dark red Norland potatoes are actually dying down, which tells me that they're starting to be ready. So these ones will get harvested next, and here are some more New England pie pumpkins on the southern edge. Drop the string, take a step in. Caribe cilantro row, doing all right. There is beans intermixed of those potatoes that have fallen on them. There is also Brussels sprouts, starter plants intermixed. And down this whole row where the potatoes are falling on them, there's beans as well. I'll have to adjust all of that in today's work. More sweet potato slips coming down the pathway here, coming into a life of their own as well. Sweet potato slips, beans. There's kale transplants in here, accompanied by a broccoli. Yep, 2 broccoli. So there's broccoli and kale transplants all along this little edge right in here. And so the beans will harvest, they'll come out. Lettuce will keep harvesting, and then that'll eventually go to seed. And then the kale and the broccoli can start growing and taking over. Some radish, French breakfast radish, saving seed off of. Some more Brussels sprout, starter plants, a zucchini or a squash, mountain mint, walking along. This is the next harvestable amount of sorrel radishes, coming in very nicely. And like I said, there's the next succession over there, and I'll probably plant another succession today. Here is some daikon radish I'm trying to save some seed off of. They're not ripe yet though. And then coming back along the inside of the west side, so the New England pie pumpkins, tomatoes, and then down where all of the garlic was got transplanted to kale, Brussels sprouts. That one's an eggplant. Red Russian kale, Brussels sprout, red Russian kale, Brussels sprout, Brussels sprout, Brussels sprout, and then cucumber, eggplant, eggplant, red Russian kale, red Russian kale, red Russian kale, cucumber, cucumber. More sweet potato slips. This was all garlic. Garlic came out, got it replanted to more plants. Whoa, these New England pot pumpkins are taking over. That's perfectly okay. We have red swan bean finally starting to put on some flowers. Hopefully beans by next week. I did see a few tiny beans set on there. Eggplants coming into a life of their own. The soft neck garlic came out. The oat cover crop has been snipped, dyed back, applied as a mulch, and now the eggplants can come into a life of their own. And intermixed between the eggplants, I have transplanted broccoli starter plants. So after the eggplants, and can snip them out and then maybe get a harvest off of the broccoli starter plants that are in the middle of the shade of the eggplants. We've got cucumber, 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 cucumber. Finally starting to come into a life of their own. They were getting too much shade from the hardneck garlic that was here. And the day that I harvested the hardneck garlic, they really started coming into a life of their own. I'm saying that a lot in this video. I guess it's just the phrase for today. Cucumber set right on there. It is 72, 73 and 100% humidity, and it's only around 7 a.m. And then intermixed between all the cucumbers is Swiss chard starter plants, Brussels sprout starter plants, and kale starter plants. Coming down this row, we've got a little bit of broccoli, lettuce, another succession for cut and come again, right there. This is a tomato that came up from last year's seed, and that is milkweed that I planted from seed from a pod that I harvested last year, and that is going to be good for nectar flow for the monarch butterflies. Some more lettuce. More lettuce. All amaranth. Hairy vetch cover crop I'm letting take over because I love its beautiful purple flowers and it's good for pollinators. That whole row is, well, it goes, so the cucumbers, the third year yarrow taking over everything. Then there's a pathway, and it goes dragon lingerie beans, which are also not doing too hot. Then another row of sweet potatoes, right there, pathway, and then it comes into this row. I'm doing some red dry beans. Some pepper plants are intermixed in here, hopefully to start taking on a new life. There's lettuce succession coming in that little space. These are all royal burgundy bush beans. And yeah, there's peppers and onions all intermixed in this row as well. So the garlic came out of this row, and it got planted to onions and broccoli. This is provider bush bean. There's some elderberry cuttings in there too. This is what it looks like when you try to save seed off of radish and also get a harvestable crop out of the same row. So this row, I overwintered greens in it, and then in April, I direct sowed it to about 200 to 400 French breakfast radish. About 40 to 50 days after that, all of the French breakfast radish harvested. I sowed it to another succession of French breakfast radish. And in the front, in the meantime, there was still lettuce growing that's now going to seed, and I'm going to save my seed off of. On this side where this lettuce was, so I got I got like 400 French breakfast radishes out of here. Now I'm saving the seed off of all of them that are adapted to the climate. There's another succession of lettuce coming in right here, but before this was planted, I had gotten 2 succession plantings off of sorrel radish, a heat-loving radish, off the side, and now harvested those, re-sowed it to lettuce. Gonna keep getting a harvest off of the lettuce while I'm waiting for all of the French breakfast radish seed to mature. So there's a lot of going, and I'm saving seed off of the lettuce that's going, so it's a double bounty right there. This row, I planted 2 garlic in the fall, and I guess last year I didn't harvest all of the potatoes as well as I thought I did. So potatoes actually ended up coming up with the garlic by default, didn't plan for that to happen. And in this row, I intentionally planted potatoes with the garlic. And it shows in both ways that it works. So I think it could be a cool interplanting, especially for the home gardener who has limited space. But these are a late variety, so I pulled out the garlic. I pulled out the ones that were here of this variety just to get the bed clear and get it all planted to another crop. But these ones will go until the end of the season, and these will be good for a nice winter storage potato. That's the same ones that these are, and that's the same ones that these are on this back end. So overall, there's a lot going on. Forgot this last row. This is all peppers, some more beans, some more lettuce, and you can see the theme here. Kind of sow a little bit of a cut and come and lettuce patch in any spot that is bare and can take some seeds, and use that space while I can. This is some more lettuce, saving seed off Shang Hai Pak Choi, more lettuce, elderberry cuttings, sweet potato slips down this pathway, and I think that is the entirety of the garden for this one. So there's a lot going on, and I'm happy and blessed to have all of this going on, and I just keep plucking away like anyone should. Find ways to stay motivated in your life. Find the things that give you purpose, and stay dedicated. Hard work always pays off. And it might sound cliche, but they call them cliches for a reason. So, one love, wholeness. Thanks for everyone's support. It's truly been a rocky season. I kept on trying to explain to people the severity of how much rain we kept on getting. But it seems like a lot of people don't pay attention until the last moment or until it's too late. I highly advise, with the changing fluctuations of weather patterns, it is of such value to document and record weather events and just the temps on a daily basis. I know that it's a lot of work, hard work and dedication, but the benefits of it pay off immensely. Every year is going to be different, and I'm seeing that only in my 3rd season. No season is like no two seasons are the same. So you're going to learn something new from every single season. And if you have notes to look back on from each previous season, you can compare and contrast your own local data recorded by yourself rather than going based off of somebody else's records online or just the average weather site. It's good to use those things for reference and to look and check, but it's also good to have your own records. And I see it on a day-to-day basis, being able to go back and look at previous years that I have from the same day of this year and just see what it was like and compare and contrast with your own real-time data. I think that there is great power in that, and just pay attention. Pay attention to the sky. Look up. Observe the weather patterns. Which way is the wind coming from? What does it get like before it rains? Is the wind coming from the east? Is the wind coming from the west? Is it coming from the south? Is it coming from the north? I don't know. Which way is the rain blowing? All these things. Just which way are the clouds moving? Which way is the wind blowing? I know I just said that, but it feels good to repeat it because it's very important. So I'll just end it here. One love, wholeness. I really appreciate everyone, and I hope this could inspire you in some way, shape, or form. Please let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, advice. Maybe you saw something that I didn't cover in its entirety and you would like me to go back and explain it a little bit thoroughly. I would love nothing more but then to do that. So one love, wholeness. You all have a blessed day, and we will see you on the next one. Peace and blessings.